All right, everybody, welcome to the Living Hope Agency call. I'm excited tonight to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is why events change lives, specifically the Family First Life National Convention that's coming up here in Dallas, Texas. I'm excited about this topic tonight because I think that this topic doesn't get talked about nearly enough. And we're going to be screaming it from the rooftops here for the next, 4, 5, 6 weeks until January 31st when this convention is happening. But there's something that if we all truly understood the value of getting people to this event, we could all, have lasting value in this business, build a real team, build a real organization, build a real agency, or just figure out how to help yourself become like a real career insurance agent, not just like a flash in the pan. Like if we really understood the value of promoting the event. And there are a lot of basic principles that I've learned in business and selling insurance. And those principles, I've never seen them taught better and that belief built faster than coming to specifically our national convention. So, I, love coming to these conventions because especially as a new agent, it gives me comfort when I look around and I see thousands of other people who are either at the same point as me, there who are looking to figure out how to take it to the next level, or thousands of other people who have already figured it out and they can teach me and they can guide me, or, hundreds of other people that are maybe at the top level that I can go and ask questions to and figure out how to get from, point A to point Z. And there's someone out there, again, that's experiencing exactly what you're experiencing at this moment. And you go out there to this event and you ask the right question to the right person, and you can have that light bulb moment, not just for the insurance industry, but really just for your life in general. You could have that light bulb moment. It could be one of the keynote speakers that sparks something in you that you didn't know was in there. Or it could be, talking to a Hall of Fame producer who finally breaks it down for you, and you finally believe now that you can hit Hall of Fame because someone broke it down for you in a way that you said, okay, that's manageable. It's not 400 families. It's just 33 a month, which is 8 a week. And that someone broke it down for you like that. You have that light bulb moment. And it's like that light bulb moment, whatever it is, whether it's just grasping how to break down a goal into something doable, or it's the mindset needed, or that little shift of, man, if they can do it, I can do it. Or if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. Like that's the springboard that can lead you to the success that you've been looking for. And that happens at a convention, getting around the right people, hearing someone's story of how they went from bankrupt to financially stable, or someone who was really successful in another industry that saw this opportunity that we have here and is still doing it, even though they don't need the money. Those are the things that help build the belief that you're in the right place at the right time, the cliche, right opportunity. And when we have the high belief, when the struggles come in this business, and they will come, we're going to persevere and we're going to find the success that we're looking for if we have that high belief and we persevere. And that belief can be developed coming to a major event. So you can develop that belief, in our industry as a whole. If you come and you see our Family First Life convention, you're going to get belief in Family First Life, of course, but then we're in the backyard of Integrity Marketing Group. Okay. Integrity Marketing Group, the biggest insurtech company in the world. They're the biggest company most people have never heard of. They own over 250 insurance agencies, and they're going to be there right in their backyard. Home office is there. They've got the largest building in all of Dallas, and they own Family First Life. And then you're going to get to hear from them, from their owners, their executives, and it's going to build your belief in this industry, how this is a recession-proof industry that's not going anywhere. Anybody that's got friends in real estate, mortgages, solar, whatever, there are some people out there having a hard time. There's also some people in those industries that are crushing it right now because they know how to take advantage of the trend. But most people who don't know how to do that are getting crushed. The insurance industry is not an industry that I feel like falls into that category of the economy being a reason why we don't do well. The insurance industry has been thriving. I think we tripled during COVID, like just something stupid. So you're going to build the belief in the industry. Of course, you're going to build that belief in the company, but then, the cliche, now you're going to build the belief in yourself. Like, how can it actually work for you by going out there and learning the skills, learning the mindset that's going to be necessary to go out and succeed. So with all that being said, everything I just described, you can get from attending Family First Life National Convention in Dallas. Okay. And we have this cliche saying, events change lives. Events change lives. And even though it's cliche, it's 100% true. So For me, whether it is a big national conference or it is, a small sales conference, a big team meetup, a local office meeting, a virtual meeting like tonight, just getting around other people who have a common goal and focus is one of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself and for your business. The number one rule, okay, especially if you ever have a desire to build a real business here, okay, number one rule, never miss a major event, number one, and never come alone. That's the rule. Never miss a major event, never come alone. Last year, it was so hard for me, but it was also a blessing. I had to miss the national convention. Okay, my son was being born. I would never, ever go to convention and miss the birth of my son. That wouldn't happen. But it was still hard. I had so much FOMO from not being at the event last year. So now it's been 2 years since I've been there. So I'm so excited to go ahead and get back. But I get excited when we have these type of events and bringing people with me and helping them have that light bulb moment. There's a lot of people in our industry that they recruit other insurance agents. And I'm all about it. This is the best place on the planet to sell insurance. But I think the coolest feeling for me is taking someone who is never in insurance and bringing them to an event like this and watching like their gears turn and like watching them have that light bulb moment for the first time of like, man, insurance is the place for me. And how the heck in the world did I get so blessed first time in insurance to end up at the best company in the industry? There's career agents out there that are on their third, fourth company, and they've been searching for their home. And this isn't here to try to like brainwash you, even though some of your brains are dirty, you could probably use a wash. But it's not just to try to brainwash you. Like, just objectively, we have the highest comp, we have the best training, we have the top producers. We've got all the things. Like, there's nowhere better to sell insurance. No contracts. You're non-captive. We, don't hold on to your, renewals for 5 years and make you vest. Like, you get them day one. Like, objectively best place to be. And watching somebody have that light bulb moment is really cool. So kind of moving forward here, coming to this event, the key, to learning, all the skills, the principles, all of that stuff, the cheat code to building a team, all of that is shared by other people who've already done it. The people who get up on stage, they're people who are currently doing it today. That's another reason I love just the culture of our company. Is you're not just like, I've been in a handful of different companies, not in the insurance business. And the way that you determine who speaks at a national convention is based on seniority and who's been there the longest, who's been the most loyal, who's been political and played the game the best. What's crazy is this company had been around for 7-8 years when I got here. I was 9 months into the business and got to speak at national convention my first year. That doesn't happen at a lot of companies. You have to be there for such a long time. And the thing is, people who've been here for 9 years, but haven't done anything for 9 years, don't speak. The people who are up on stage teaching are the people who are doing it today. The people who are earning 4, 5, 6, 700, $1 million a year are the ones who are up on stage, the ones who are doing it today, not 5 years ago, because 5 years ago, before the pandemic hit, it was a totally different game selling insurance. Like, this virtual world is, there's going to be more telesales virtual producers on stage this year than ever before. It's going to be mind-blowing in comparison. The people who are up there teaching you how to build a team are people who have actually built a team, which is exciting. So all you have to do is get there, get your people there, get them plugged in, and the event is going to do all the teaching, convincing, sorting, and belief building for you. So if you ever wanted to build a team, instead of you saying, I have to sell X amount of insurance before I can teach somebody else how to do it, just get them to the event. Let the event do that for you. Now, some of you, when you hear obviously tonight's topic and the importance of events, why you should attend them, you've listened to this whole intro and you've kind of already checked out. Because like, I've been to an event before. I know what it's about. I know that they're important. I probably don't really need to listen and take notes. And, some of y'all are probably thinking this is just a cheap way for Jamie to promote convention. And that's definitely true. But these events are free. Like, I'm not making an override when you guys go buy a ticket. Nobody's making any profit. This event is for you to grow. It's for you to have breakthroughs. There are millions of dollars spent just on the speakers, just to get the speakers there. And we get to come for free. Like, I've got friends who they go to these masterminds all over the country, and some of these people who are speaking at our event go speak at those events. And those events, minimum $200-300 a ticket, minimum. I had a conference that I almost went to earlier this year, and it was $1,000 for general admission. And then there was a VIP seat that was 5,000, and then you got to like have a lunch and it was 10,000. And I was like, that's insane, but it's the same caliber of speakers. Okay, so these events are free, which is insane. So before I jump into some of like the more principle-based reasons why we go to events, I just want to highlight some of the speakers and things we got going on here. So obviously we are 50 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 3 seconds away from convention, and it can't come soon enough. The only reason I want it to slow down is because I want more time to promote it and get more people there. But otherwise, I'm excited to be there. And I want it to come as fast as possible. It's at the Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas, which is basically like 10 minutes away from the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. So really easy airport to fly into, probably one of the easiest locations in the country. Last year was Miami. Miami was not easy. You get stuck in traffic. If your hotel was on the wrong side of the bridge, you could be an hour late to the event. I love this because you could literally stay a block away. You could stay at the hotel that the event's happening at, literally come down the elevator into the convention lobby. That's what I'm doing. Like, don't even have to go outside. If it's hot, I won't have to sweat, air conditioning the whole time. Probably won't leave the building for the whole weekend. But you can be around the corner at the Holiday Inn 3 blocks away and walk over. Like, you're not going to have that same experience like in a busy city like Miami. Dallas is huge, don't get me wrong, but this is going to be really great. Food, hotels, it's affordable. Miami was like $500-600 a night for like a tiny queen bed and like a not nice hotel. $500 a night in Dallas is like you get the presidential suite, which none of us really need. But at the end of the day, like, it's an affordable city, so there's no reason why cost should be a reason that someone doesn't come. So familyfirstlifeconvention.com will bring you here, and you can go ahead and register. And obviously you can register as an agent, phone number, email, etc. They're going to ask for agency. If you work directly with me, you're going to put Family First Life Living Hope. If you work with Lockhart, you're going to put Gloves Off or FFL Justice. If you work with Al Vomsteeg, you're going to put FFL Grit or Resonate. If you work with Nat DiCarlo or FFL America, if you work directly with Grady, so on and so forth. We just want to know where you're at, who you work with, and it's going to help us determine a lot of things for numbers. So beautiful convention center, as you guys can see, very convenient location with all kinds of things around it. And then here's the agenda. So Wednesday, the 31st, from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the carrier meet and greet. This is probably the event that gets overlooked the most every year. However, it's one of the most powerful ones to attend. This is like relationship building 101 right here. Like, you go up to the Americo table and you go introduce yourself to Bobby and Madison and Tim and Jeremy and all of them, and you grab their phone numbers, and you get somebody who is on the edge and they get denied. And you hit up Madison, you say, hey, here's the policy number. Can you tell me why they got denied? And she goes, hey, we actually might be able to push that one through. Or, hey, that's the reason why they got denied. And you don't have to worry about, some of these things of trying to figure out, what happened. And it helps you pivot to another carrier. Or, you trying to figure out more about a product. You want to go talk to Dylan at Mutual of Omaha, or Darren at AmAm, or you want to go talk to Jeff at Corbridge. Like, there's so many different people that you can work with. And if you want to build a team and you have lock-ins and office openings, these carriers will sponsor those events. I've got an event coming up in January 13th, a new team we've got launching up in Detroit, which I'm excited to make that announcement here soon. But the carriers are sponsoring that event. Big event. They're inviting like 150 people out. It's going to be a whole thing, food, entertainment, all this stuff. And it's going to cost like 10 grand, completely sponsored by the carriers, because they care about us. You go build those relationships, you build a team, and they're going to help, pour into you. If anybody came to our office opening or any of our lock-ins, you don't have to take out your wallet like the entire weekend, because the carriers pay for all the food. So like, that's the opportunity to go and, learn about new products, get those carrier numbers in your pockets, and they can help you out. Thursday, obviously, they got the check-in, general session. Friday, same deal. It's not loading. Friday, there's going to be an award ceremony. Awards is probably one of my favorite parts of the event. Let's see if I can get that to load. So awards is probably my favorite part of the event. And then last day, but speakers. Okay. So we've got Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank, Dave Anderson. He's probably the #1 speaker every year that everyone loves. David Goggins, Pastor Matthew from the Dream Center, Shannon Sharp, obviously NFL legend, ESPN host, and obviously you got Sean, and then Alex Morton, who's probably the highest paid direct salesperson in the world, earned well over $100 million in his 30s. Doing direct sales, building teams, kind of the goal that we all have, building an insurance agency here, which I get really excited about. And they got some hotel recommendations. I'm staying at the Westin Convention Center. They've got the Omni, the Marriott, and a handful more. Here are a couple pictures from the previous conventions. A lot of fun. Frequently asked questions, dress code, all the things. So that's that. Hopefully that gives you guys everything you need. The last couple things in regards to announcements about convention are the VIP seating that is available. So VIP seating. So we talked about how everything's free. Everything is free to attend. Family First Life does not make any profit here, but we are a very generous company. And one of the charities that we support every year is the Dream Center in Los Angeles. Pastor Matthew Barnett, he's our keynote almost every year, talking about, the get to serve mentality versus the have to serve mentality, and what he's done, buying this old abandoned hospital in LA and turning it into a place that houses, hundreds and hundreds of people who are homeless, dealing with drug abuse, sex trafficking, so many different things. The Dream Center is just such a cool organization. Pastor Matthew's one of the best entrepreneurs, philanthropists I've ever met. VIP seating, $150 for 3 days. So it's $50 a day to sit on the floor right up front. Okay. Now, what's so cool about sitting up front? Well, last year, to those who sat in the VIP seating, Sean gave away over $300,000 worth of leads to those sitting on the floor. This year, he's committed to give over $750,000 worth of leads away to those sitting on the floor. It's also tax deductible. So if you're willing to spend $150, you'll get $75 back on your taxes, whatever. I'm getting like 20, 30 tickets because I want to get as many people on the floor as I possibly can. Hopefully you guys will want to do the same. And I'm going to get back, however much I'm going to get back. So great opportunity. Lead giveaway. If they got, 1,000 people on the floor, there's a very good chance you could get at least $1,000 in leads. So I believe there was multiple people who were given $10,000 in leads last year, which is crazy. There was people bring signs, they go crazy. Like there was a chick who said, "I will hit Hall of Fame if you sponsor me with $10,000." And then Sean gave her $10,000 in leads and she's going to hit Hall of Fame this year. Single mom, crazy story. So that stuff happens. Really, really cool. So great opportunity to sit up front. All right. So we already said how events change lives. One of the things for me that I typically get excited about is that every time that I've gone all in and made a major decision, it was at an event. There's some sort of emotional impact, something that gave me a heart check, made the decision to kind of never look back. And if you've ever had this type of moment at an event, you definitely know what I'm talking about. If you're struggling to go all in, going to a major event, you're either going to be all in or all out. Another reason, obviously, again, we talked about the stories you're going to hear. I kind of touched on it a little bit, but there's going to be two different kinds of stories you'll hear from stage. You're going to hear, if it can work for him, it can work for me kind of story, which is like the underdog story, the person who overcame some sort of adversity, was homeless, whatever, overcame a hardship, a really hard learning curve to be successful here. And you look at them and say, wow, if they can do this, I can do this. Then the other type of story is if it's good enough for him or her, it's good enough for me. So this is when you have like the successful business owner, the doctor, the lawyer, the real estate investor, or whatever type of person that you think probably was doing pretty well before FFL. They don't need this, but they see the value in the opportunity. And, business people see good opportunities, whether they need it or not. And it provides validation for everybody out there who also has a pretty decent career. And if they're already successful in their other career, if they came here and applied the same effort, how much more successful they could be. So this is like all ammo, like ammo in your armory that when you're recruiting later on, like to be like the person that you don't think needs FFL, you can go, hey, I heard this story of this person who also didn't need FFL, but here's why they saw the opportunity. Or the person who doesn't think they can do it, you can be, hey, here's this person who overcame this, this, and this, and here's what happened for them. So it's really exciting because when you go to the event, you can find someone that you can relate to. And when you find someone you can relate to, it makes it real for you. I found a couple people I related to at my first convention, and I literally went on YouTube and typed in their name and obsessively watched every single video that they had so that they could teach me how to, sell in the way that they sell. That was really important to me because I said, you know what, that person over there, I definitely cannot relate to them. And I can't go and talk to a person about, hey, if you didn't come home tomorrow and the police walked up to your door with your husband's bloody driver's license, and said this and this, how would you feel? And that's not my style. Some people love that stuff. I'm not super morbid when I talk about death and insurance. So I found some people that I could relate to. And I was like, okay, I'm going to model my script off of the way that their attitude is, because that's how my attitude is. So you're going to find that stuff, the people you can relate to. And then the obvious, the relationships that you make. We got our live dial crew here, which is awesome. Like, you go and see people in person at an event, it takes it to a whole nother level. Like, I had people that were on live dials with me that were on the producer cruise, and it was cool to be able to hang out with them for the first time. I found mentors at events. I've found running partners. Like, you go to an event, you sit next to somebody, you find out you're at a similar level, and you kind of bump elbows, and you're like, dude, you want to like hold each other accountable and race to Hall of Fame next year? Or you just make friends. Like, I've met people at events that I didn't know before that became some of my best friends. People who stood in my wedding are people I met at events in the past, like not FFL, but like other business events. And just like the relationships that you make at these events, or the relationships you make on live dials that then get strengthened at these events, sometimes like that's the reason you don't quit. Like, that's the reason why you're able to outlast other people in this business, where I'm just making up this number where it feels like 90 to 95% of people quit. Like, the reason you're able to outlast others is because there's other people in it with you. Okay. You're not alone. I was talking to a new agent earlier, and I was talking about being a lone wolf, and like lone wolves, they either come into this business, teach themselves they're an anomaly, and they go out and they're amazing, or they quit. Like, being a lone wolf isn't great. I get worried about lone wolves. Lone wolves do sketchy stuff for the most part, in my personal opinion, but you can be a part of a pack, which is exciting. And you can figure out the community you want to be a part of, and find a bunch of people who are also trying to figure it out. And you guys can work together, which is really awesome. Until you have a team, you plug into the team. Another reason for events, and I think this one's really big, anybody who has family at home or just like other responsibilities, coming to convention, leaving reality behind for a second, focused attention is possible. Okay. Focused attention. So like today I'm working from the office, really easy to be focused at the office. But when I'm working at home, brand new house, so walls are like paper thin from the construction. So I can hear kids crying downstairs. I can tell a diaper needs to be changed. Like, the focus is a lot harder to keep. I can hear when it's like, it's not going so well downstairs for my wife. She's outnumbered by the kids, like all that stuff. I'm like, I should probably go down there and help. Or you've got another job, or you're working on your marriage. Like, I'm in the middle of a 16-week marriage course. I'm 15 weeks in right now, like finally almost done, but still going to keep working on my marriage. But like, focused attention. Like, I go to this event and this is the focus, not my marriage course, not changing diapers, not my other job, my other business, like not my church, my community group. This is the focus. We all have lives, we all have families, other jobs, other responsibilities. And when we're doing this business daily, we've got all the little cares, all the little worries that keep us from just 100% focusing. And again, when you come to the event, especially when you travel, you're leaving those things at home. You're coming to the event, and sometimes it's the first time you've ever dedicated 100% focus to your business with no other cares and no other worries. And when you have that first time dedicating 100%, sometimes, again, that's when that light bulb moment happens. But like, you literally weren't able to have that light bulb moment because you weren't 100% focused. So it's powerful. And then, obvious skills and mindset, word tracks, scripts, structures, unique and creative ways to think about things. You'll hear a story of someone who came before you, and you can, learn everything you need to succeed. All this info, it's available online. It's available on YouTube. But again, how easy is it to get distracted when you're watching a YouTube video? And what's the difference of the emotional impact? If you've ever been to an event like watching church online versus like sitting in the front row and like your pastor's on fire, like it just like hits you in a different way. Like watching a YouTube video versus like being in the room and everyone, they got person's mic'd up, loudspeakers, music, the crowd's like going nuts. Like it's easy to get distracted at home, but like the emotional impact when you're sitting there with 100% focus, even if you're hearing the exact same information that you've already heard a dozen times, that emotional impact of being in person could be the reason why it sticks for the first time. And like finally it clicks. You're like, oh, there's the light bulb moment. That's what I was waiting for. So hopefully that all makes sense. Last couple things and we'll be off of here. There's something this is just to kind of give you all a breakdown from like a business perspective of like how events work. There's something called the event ladder. Okay. So at the bottom of the event ladder are calls like this: live dials, local meetings, that kind of stuff. And then you get into, your regional conferences, the bigger conferences, national conference. And it's like, I watch a YouTube video, I'm at the bottom of the event ladder. I get on a 3-way call with the manager. That's next rung up. I get on, a Zoom call with the team. I join live dials and I'm doing the daily work. I come to a local office event. I come to a regional conference. I come to the national conference. And really, like, you're not really in the insurance business until you've been to all the events on the event ladder. Like, you're really not. You can't get the full experience of what there is to offer until you've been to every single event on the ladder. So pretty much everything we've talked about, what you can get out of the event. And it's obvious to say, again, if you're going to build a team, getting your newest agent here is a big deal. We talked about, instead of having to feel the pressure of helping the new agent make the decision, just get them, to the event, and the event will, change all the things for them. And it's obvious to say, that the more people you get to the event, the more volume your team will do. Here's a general rule of thumb: for every 10 people that you bring to the event, your team will help 100 families a month. And that's not just a random number that we pulled. We've seen this be so true. Like the year that Grady brought 200 people to convention, the next year, within the next 6 months, he was doing $2 million a month. Like, it's just like, it was weird. He was doing 2,000 families a month, like after bringing 200 families. I saw that happen for me. When we brought our first 100 people to a convention, or 50 people to a convention, 25 people to my first convention, whatever it was, I watched my numbers skyrocket. I think going to my first ever convention, we were doing 96,000 a month. I was 4,000 away from earning the Living Hope logo. And I brought 25 people to the event. And 3 months later, we were doing 300 grand a month. Like, it's a weird rule of thumb that somehow works out. So if we're talking about overrides, the comp plan, you've got an override on a new agent. If you're at a 110 and they're at a 90, and you bring 10 people to an event, and you're doing 100 grand a month, 40 of it's you, 60 of it is the team, and you've got a 20-point spread, and you start to do the math, those numbers are pretty cool. So if you want to be, a board member, helping 1,000 families a month, get 100 people to the event. If you want to get a logo, bring 10, 15 people to the event. It's really simple as that. It's like wrapping your mind around these goals that like you can feasibly understand. Like, you don't understand how you're going to build an agency, but you can wrap your mind around, I could get 10 people there. It's Dallas. I get 10 people there. And the goal is obviously to get people from one event to the next. So, if you want your agent to be here a year from now, then we're looking at what can we plug them into next? How can we help them go help 100 families so they can be a part of the next producer cruise 90 days after that? What's the next webinar? What's the next lock-in? What's the next event that we can plug them into? But people are going to make excuses on why they can't go, especially because it's out of state. If it's out of state, they will make the most excuses on why they can't go. And, going to a local event's cool, but the national one is better. And if you're only at local events, you're hearing the same voices all the time. Come to the national event, you hear different voices. Maybe you hear the same thing in a different way. But the biggest excuse that people will make is they can't afford it. And whenever I hear that excuse, my skin kind of crawls. It crawls because this is the best business ever, and you help one family and you can make $800 to $1,500. Help one family. I hear that somebody, when they say that they don't have the confidence in themselves that this event is going to give them what they need to learn to be able to help families that will. Like, they're not confident that they will learn. They're not confident in the company, or they're not confident in something. They're not confident in themselves. I don't know. but they have a lack of confidence. They don't believe that the event will teach them how to overcome any objection at any time. They don't believe that the event will teach them how to sell final expense. They don't believe that the event will teach them how to call internet leads and get people to stay on the phone. They just don't believe that. But the thing is, like, anybody who has learned, like, and actually really learned, like, had the light bulb moment of how to sell simplified issue life insurance, when they hear about events, they understand that regardless of how expensive the travel is, like, this is why there were so many people in Miami last year and the year before. It didn't matter that it was $500 a night. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of annoying that's $500 a night to stay in Miami. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's like a $700 plane ticket. It's annoying, but people who understood really how to sell life insurance, it didn't matter how last minute it was. It didn't matter how expensive of a city it was. They understand that we have the best advanced compensation plan on the planet. And if they just go out and help 1 to 2 families, they can make what they need to go to an event. They understand that. Like, they've had that light bulb moment of, it doesn't matter if this event cost me $5,000. I'm going to go help 20 families this month. Doesn't matter. And it's not going to cost you that. The event's free. But even if it did, the people who've already, like, had that decision, they would find a way. So, like, to hear like $100 a night, $200 a night, split a room with somebody, free event, food, whatever, like, maybe you spend $1,000, maybe $500. I don't know. Like, depending on how cheap you want to go, you can eat peanut butter and jelly the whole time if you want. But there are people out there who will literally spend their last dollar to get to this event because they understand the importance. They're extremely teachable, and they actually truly believe that they can get the information needed for them to go to the next level, and that the event will be exponentially worth more than what it cost. Okay, I'll say that part again. Most people are too busy worrying about the travel expenses or the time required of what it cost versus how much it's going to be worth. Okay, so what it cost versus what it's going to be worth. If I told you that if you committed to going to the major event and you made a goal to go to every single event on the event ladder, that you would eventually help 400 families next year, and you'd personally have a team helping 150 families a month, would it be worth it? So doing about 33 a month in personal plus 150,000 in team. So we're looking at probably like 40 a month. So if you just went to the event, learned skills, actually applied it, you have to actually do the work. Like, that's the part I didn't mention, but you have to actually do the work just because you have the light bulb moment. But if, like, you had the knowledge and the belief that you could do that, and then in a year you were doing that, would that be financially worth it? Yes. So my question really is, like, what's the cost of you not going? What's the cost of you not plugging in? How many more years do you want to be mediocre at selling insurance? Because that's the cost. Like, this business is, we say, best business ever. This is the worst business ever when you're mediocre at it or when you suck at it. It is the absolute, like, worst business ever when you suck at selling life insurance. It's the worst when you call people all day long and everyone hangs up on you. It is the worst when you dial 12 hours a day and you can't book an appointment. It's the worst, but it's the best thing ever when you learn how to take control on the phones. It's the best thing ever when you learn how to help 7 out of 10 families that you talk to, because it's not really selling. It's helping someone make a decision because they filled out a lead card saying they already want it. So they already sold themselves. You're just taking their order and placing them somewhere. So, like, the question is, again, like, how many more years do you want to be mediocre at selling insurance? And I honestly, like, don't see, and this isn't just like theory here. It's just, people don't last who are mediocre at selling insurance. They won't last more than 2 years. Like, I've seen some people stick around for a while. I haven't seen most people make it past 2 years who are mediocre at selling without some sort of breakthrough. Like, whether it was they figured out their lead flow and how to become profitable on helping their 15 families a month, or they figured out how to go from 15 to 50 families a month. And, like, that's the reason they're still here. But people who don't have, like, some sort of breakthrough, some sort of growth, most people quit in their first 60 days. Somehow, some of these people last 1-2 years, which blows my mind. So, if we want to talk about, like, preventing people from quitting so quickly, or, like, helping people become more profitable in the long run, it's by helping people find success as quickly as possible. You can protect yourself from yourself by, you know, showing and figuring out the value of plugging in and what it will be worth for your business and speeding up the learning curve to profitability and growth. Like that's what's happening. Like you're speeding up the learning curve to profitability and growth by coming to an event like this. So I challenge you. I mean, it's not a challenge really. Like it's almost like, and this might sound a little bold, but like anybody who's like recently been working with me directly, like I've pretty much told you all, like I will not work with you directly if you don't come to the event. Like I'll most likely put you with another manager who will work with you directly. But like coming to the event is that important. Okay. So again, it's free. They could be charging thousands. It's costing them hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. It could be thousands, but it's free. So it's going to be fun. Our team specifically, we're going to have some meetups, which I'm excited about. Excited to meet y'all in person. We'll probably do like some little mock awards, recognize some people for hitting Hall of Fame, which will be fun. And, you know, just great time to mastermind and set goals and get better. But personally, you know, doing whatever it takes to make this event is what it's all about. That's what's going to determine, you know, how seriously your manager takes you. And if you ever like, if you're having like, this is kind of, if you're ever having like a weird thing with your manager, like you're not sure if like they're too busy for you, whatever. Like if you come out to an event and you're incredibly teachable and coachable and meet them in person, like it's like kind of weird to say, but like not everyone gets equal time from all the managers. It's just a fact. But like when they meet you in person and see how good of an attitude you have and how teachable and coachable you are and how serious you are about building your business, watch them start answering your phone call. Watch them start answering your phone call when they see how serious you are. So leveraging this can explode your business from a personal sales side or from, you know, a business building side. Learning how to promote this, making sure that it's a non-negotiable to anyone in your team that you want to be here a year from now. And the biggest thing here, as I'm kind of wrapping this up, two things. Being here a year from now is cool, but like if you're here a year from now and you're still just like gasping for air and barely surviving, that's not cool. Like surviving is not cool. Thriving is cool. Like having your best year financially that you've ever had is cool. So that's the first thing. The second thing is like, it's like a big campfire. We talk about the campfire effect. You know, the closer you are to the campfire, the warmer you are. The further you are from the campfire, the colder you are. And in this metaphorical campfire, the way the rules work is if you get too far from the campfire, you're going to freeze and die. So this call is the campfire, convention is the campfire, staying plugged in, staying close to the campfire, bringing as many other people around the campfire as you possibly can. That's the key. So get registered, fflconvention.com. I appreciate you all. I hope to see you there. I don't know if there's anything else I can say about convention other than be there. So I hope you all have a good night. We'll be on here for some more live dials, and I will talk to y'all soon. See you next time.